Naughty breakfast time. Peel the potatoes. Square off the potatoes. Dice them up. Alright, we're going to get the potatoes into cold water. You want them coming out nice and soft. Now we've got some Wagyu beef fat. Our potatoes are going to roast. Throw it in the oven just for a second, just to loosen it up so it's easy to coat them all. So now the potatoes are boiling, they're going to become really soft. You don't want them falling apart, but just enough so you can roast them in the oven. So now we're going to lay these potatoes in the beef fat. This is basically a mixture of rosemary, salt, pepper and garlic powder. Now we're going to throw this in the oven for about 20 minutes. Now they're fully roasted. You just want them to be as crispy as possible. So now we're going to get the bacon, try and flatten it out slightly. Now we're going to put this in the oven for about 20-30 minutes. It's going to get really, really crispy. All right, now the water's boiling. I'm going to poach the eggs. Need some white wine. Now it's boiling. You want to turn it right down so it stops boiling, but the water's still hot. And then we're going to put the poached eggs in. And we're going to move the eggs to get a slight rotation in the water so it doesn't go too flat. Leave this in there 2 minutes. It has to still be soft in the middle. Now your bacon's fully crispy. Now you're just going to leave these. Now our little poached egg just comes out. I'm going to pop it next to our bacon, our perfect marriage, the lobster tail. So here we're going to cut down the back of its spine. Make sure that you don't go past it, but you want to go right down. So get on a little tray. We're going to add some smoked paprika, a little bit of salt, and a bit of pepper. We're going to throw this in the oven for about 10 minutes and then we're going to baste with butter. Small pan, a lot of butter. Back in there with more of that smoked paprika, rose petals. Gives a little bit of a sweetness to the whole experience. Then we're just going to let that soften. Oily spray, whatever you want to call it, in the base. Phyllo pastry, we're going to split it. Doesn't have to be neat, first layer in. Don't push it down to the bottom, so leave it hanging off. Another one in, kind of hanging over. And we're going to throw it in the oven till it goes fully brown. I like to get them quite brown, I like a lot of colour on them. And now we're just going to take it out. And we're going to set it aside just to cool down. Now the butter's fully melted. We're going to just, as our lobster's cooking, we're just going to keep taking it back out. Basting it. So now we're going to make the hollandaise. This is the cheap way of making the hollandaise. You want 3 egg yolks. So you take it out. You get the whites out of here. You can save the whites for something else, but I don't really care what you do with it. Another pan, whole 250 grams of butter. And then that's just going to go on the heat. You want it to be bubbling away. It has to be really hot because it has to cook the eggs. Yeah, so into this we're going to add just a bit of salt and a splash of white wine vinegar. While we were doing this hollandaise, it finished cooking, so I'm just going to set her aside. We're just going to put a little bit more butter, of that rose petal butter. All the way, we might even just go all the way. Now that the butter's boiling away, put it in here, start whizzing, and slowly pouring her in. And there you go, perfect hollandaise every time. So we're going to add some sriracha to our hollandaise. We're just going to mix that through. Time to plate. So we're going to get our sriracha hollandaise, pop it in the middle, and just start to smear it around. We get our crispy potatoes. Grab our poached egg. Place. So now we're just going to put some watercress, colour, and there we have the naughtiest breakfast.